Hi, welcome to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie, and today we are going to be looking at ways that you can use those images that you just can't get a clean background removal. And we know that we have all, if you've been doing AI art very long, you know that all of us have done that. We've ended up with beautiful images, and they just will not come clean, and we're afraid to sell them as clip art. But there are a lot of other products that we can take and use those wonderful images with, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today, is giving you some amazing ways that you can use those images. And it's all about thinking outside of the box. So I know that if your store is predominantly clip art, you probably heard a lot of people say that you should not mix certain things, and I'm just not of that philosophy. I mean, I see I see it to a certain degree, but we're living in times where our shops need to produce. And when we get a certain buyer in, a creator buyer, whether they're a DIYer, to be honest with you, it takes a certain type of person to even purchase a template. So you are looking at a person that is more of a DIYer if they're going to purchase a birthday invitation, and they're going to even take the time to fill in the template and print it out, or find a means to print it out for their party. They're DIYing that. They didn't go to a print shop and say, print me this, or order it custom done. They're doing it themselves. So a lot of times the audience that you're creating and bringing into your clip art store, they're also shoppers for other items as well. So I have my playbooks, which are for sellers. I have invitations, which are for the end product. I have a lot of things that are for end users, that are personal use, invitations, party items, that sort of thing. But I also have a lot of things for sellers and creators to create with and do. I've never had a problem with that mix. And even today, even though a lot of my sales come from my playbooks and everything, I also have a very large percentage that are clip art and invitations. And it has never worked against me. So that is a personal decision you have to make. But if you are struggling, then you owe it to yourself to do what you can to make your store profitable. And sometimes that means, if you've got a full stable of wonderful clip art for people to use, then maybe it's time that you diversify a little bit into some other products that you can use the art that you have already created in. And this is where this comes into play. So let's just say you have a lot of art that may look similar. It may be, it is images that part of they look very familiar, and they would go in a group together, but part of them had backgrounds that you just couldn't get them removed. Now a lot of people will spend hours, literally hours, trying to remove the backgrounds from one image. And in today's time, that is just not what I want to do. Now, everybody is, this is a personalized business. This is your style, how you want to do it. All I do with my videos is show you how I do it, or give you ideas on how to do things. How you use that information is totally up to you, and I am not bullying you into doing it my way. I want you to do it your way. That's what I want you to do. I just want you to have all the tools to be able to make choices between, one coach gives you this thing, and I say another thing, and somebody else says something else. You're going to pick what works for you. And you may have to actually try out a few things to see what technique works for you, what process works for you, what combination works in your store. I always go back to my brick and mortar background of having a balloon and gift basket shop. And inside that balloon and gift basket shop, I had balloons, but I also had other things. I had coffee, I had little gourmet miniature things that I put in gift baskets. So I did more than one thing. Walmart does more than one thing. They have departments. So if you organize your store, then you can still draw traffic into it and and sell from it. So there has definitely been a time where, niching down and being really good at one thing has served a lot of people. But the economies around the world are not as good as they have been in the past. There's more competition than there was in the past. And so now being able to have logical product mixes in your store is going to serve you well. And so now I do believe that if you're selling digital items, you probably would not want to mix physical items in with your digital store. And that is because it makes for confusion. The people come in, and if you're offering part of these things are physical items and part aren't, sometimes they get there's misunderstandings around what they're purchasing, and some people don't read. So you have to assume what that person coming into your store is going to do. And therefore, it's going to be more important for you to make sure that you eliminate all forms of confusion. And that's going to make your life a lot easier. So if you're trying to sell physical and digital products all in the same store, you're going to have to definitely differentiate it very clearly. It's not that you can't do it. It's easier if you don't, but if you have a digital store and if you have a physical store and you're wanting to do a digital, um, break it up into digital things, and then there are ways that you can do that. But you definitely need to make sure that all of your disclosures are very easy for people to see. Because if you have a problem with Etsy, how you display and you describe your items, and how many times you have that it's a digital product, and how you differentiate it will help them in helping you. So, anyway, so now that we've kind of covered that, let's get back to what we can do and what we can do with all these beautiful images that we are creating anyway. So here we are back, and we're going to deep dive into product creation using images that will not come clean with background removal. So we're going to be looking for lots of different ideas and products and themes and that sort of thing. But the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go and pop in to my personal designs inside Artistly, because that's how I create everything. And then I'm going to go to one of my, this is one of my folders, and we're going to find some, actually, that's not the right one, fall. That's what we want. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so you see that these images, some of these are beautiful images, but they are probably not going to remove clean. These are the types of images that we're talking about. These may be people, they may be things, they may be beautiful images, but not be images that you can remove the background very cleanly on. So we've got images like this. We've also got, let's see what I've got in here. Not that one. Let's see. Autumn. Pumpkins. Okay. See, a lot of these are gorgeous images, but again, they are probably not going to lend themselves to like these gorgeous images. Just absolutely gorgeous. So let's look and see some items that we think automatically that automatically we think bookmarks would be really pretty. Wall art is really pretty, but let's deep dive and let's see what we can do. We're going to actually go into the themes playbook, and the the profitable products playbook. And let me just show you what that looks like. It's this one. And we're going to go to the table of contents. Which is, okay, let's see, 5. Let me see if I can find the table of contents. There we go. Page 9. Okay, so let's just look at some of the things inside the profitable products playbook. Okay, so this gives you decorative printables, and this is our index. So these are some of the at a glance. We've got wall art, quote prints, nursery and kids room decor, holiday and seasonal. Each one of these opens up into lots of different individual product ideas. And so they're very, very helpful in trying to take your images and then match them to different products that you can actually use those images for. You've got chore charts, you've got that's under organizational and functional printables. Underneath the decorative printables, this printable art tiles. Okay, so those would be great because, those you can do coasters and things like that with them. People can use them for sublimation. So a lot of these really pretty images that we've been looking at, like these, would make really pretty um, tiles. You could even put the person's you could go in the center here and you could do a little overlay and put an initial. Let me show you what that would look like. Let me just take one of these and I'll go into Canva. Just going to go into this 1:1 ratio. And let me show you what that would look like just real quick, just to show you how quickly you can turn an image you thought you couldn't do anything but just look at into a great product. So this would be, you could do this as a template that people could do for home decor themselves. Because they could like decoupage these on top of one of those tiles. They could sublimate them if they have a sublimation machine. Sublimators, if you want to give commercial use, then you could do your template and say this is for commercial use, and you could go ahead and set it up for them. All you do is take a square like this, and you would put this kind of in the middle of it. Then you would decide what color you want to do it. You want to make sure it's centered. Okay. And then you're going to make it a little transparent like that. And then you're going to go over and let's see, my initial would be G for Gibbs. And I could just make this really big. And wouldn't this be a cool little set for somebody to do for gifts? They could take them and, like I said, sublimate them if they have a sublimator. They could also print them on. A lot of times you can get the vinyl that you can print on. You could do it like that. They could even use this. I'll show you another way that we could use this just in just a second. But here's just a G, and you could make it fancier if you wanted to. I'm just trying some different fonts. Now remember, like this one, the archetype, that one is a one of the pro fonts, and you should not use them in anything that you're selling. So you want to look for the free fonts. And so, you could, depending on what you wanted to do and how you wanted it to look, you could then take and you've made like something for a thing. So let's think home decor and say we want to do a whole set. So let's duplicate this page. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, and I would do this actually, I would make this into another one. I would resize it into this little pack. And what I would do is take the whole thing, just like we were doing, and make it smaller so that we've just got this like this. And then make sure it's centered. So it's in the center. And then this would be really cool for, and I didn't get everything in there. Let's make, this is not centered. Let me make it big enough where I can see it here. Okay. So you've got that and this, and we're going to group it. And then, no. And then we're going to center the whole thing. Center. Center. There we go. Now it's centered. Now let's back up from it a little bit. And like I said, I would have changed the dimensions of it because this would make a really pretty, now I would probably change the color of that to, I would change the color here to probably maybe the green. And you could go down here to the picture and get that exact color green, or either maybe even a gold or a little bit more beige. You could do the black, but you'd have to make the color lighter, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I would probably do more like the beige. Okay. So when we're looking at this, though, think about it in relationship to sublimation, where they could sublimate a band across like a tea towel or something like that. That would be really cool. A very cool image for that to be used that way. Okay, so let's pop back into our playbook, whatever I did with it. Let's see. The profitable products. There we go. Okay. So that's just two ideas out of, this book is 600 and something pages, so it's filled with all sorts of ideas. And that was just one, just pulling it out from just looking at the the art tiles. Okay, so that's very simple. But you've got your invitations that you can do. You've got all of these little chore charts and things like that, packing lists and things like that. A lot of times you can use images like we just went over. Planners, you've got your covers for your planners, you've got your index page, your divider pages that using those images would be great with. And if you're not in the planner business, you could always sell packs of the individual items. So like your digital you don't even have to make them as digital papers. They can be covers. You could sell a packet of covers that other people could use on their journals and their, planners. And they could then add their own information over the top of them, whatever. So that's just another way to do it. So if you don't want to do that in product, you could provide a whole packet of different covers that people could use in their, in making their product. So that's a way to do that. So backgrounds, if we go and look at the same these images wherever they are here, and we look at, let's just say we look at this image here. Now we can't, this one probably would, the background probably would come off, but let's look at what we could do with this, either way, whether we're just using it for the background. Like for instance, let's use this one. And let me show you. This would be a great idea for brick and mortar to make a packet that would be cover holidays. And this is another thing that I probably need to be doing myself. But anyway, for holidays and things like that, you have brick and mortar stores that need flyers, and you could set up for their flyers and do templates for them so that it would be really easy for them to just pop in. They would already have kind of curated images that it's okay for them to use. You could do a whole holiday pack. So it could be all the holidays. You could have a different flyer set up for, whatever you want to. So this is a way that you could do this. So take this image in Canva and you see it's this shape. And then what we can do is go to resize page and do the custom size. And I already have the 8.5 by 11. And well, that didn't work exactly the way I had intended it to, but it's easy to take and do that. Okay, so see, let me make it bigger, and then you can see all you have to do then is you can make it as big. So you can have a space here, you could do sales. They could put whatever they wanted to there. So you can use these background type papers, these especially these that are shaped kind of like this, that give you kind of an idea. Another thing is that, this would be like, for instance, this particular image would be really good to be it could be a note card, and it could say, let me just go in here. Okay, so we could take it and just say, thinking of you. And you have a note card, and you just create this. Okay. And you have the little square card. Okay, so let's go back into the profitable products playbook and look at some other ways that we can use. And like I said, inside each one of these, I'm just broadly throwing out the ideas, and then to get deep down on specific little things, then, reference your your profitable products playbook. Goodness, that's a mouthful. Okay, so think about puzzles. Somewhere there's puzzles somewhere. Da, da, da. Puzzle mats and things. So a lot of these images would make good puzzles. They would make good additions to reward charts. You can make flashcards with them. Those would be really good for some of those animal images that you've done that are maybe under artistic, but they're too busy to actually take and remove the background from. You've got, let's see, product tags. I mean, doing one side of a product tag would be really cute. You have your tumblers, your tumbler wraps, that these type of images, that already have kind of the background attached, that you can use those. You can use them for junk journaling. There's tons of things. Tags. There are your pages. There are mugs. Your, like I said, your Book plates. I actually did a video with a lot of those items already. So go back and look. I actually did a video similar to this a while back. And I actually walked through the creation of most of those things. So, but there are so many different things that you can do with those products. So I'm going to click into the seasonal. So, seasonal and holiday printables. Um, this basically tells you the mood, the colors, what it's perfect for. It's perfect for vacation planners, beach themed printables. Your spring is good for spring planners, Easter journals, home refresh kits. If you go on down through this, then you're going to get a lot of different ideas. We're just going to go through. Okay. So this is all color strategy. That's not what we're looking at. All those are colors for the products, which is cool. But we're looking mainly, okay. So recipe cards, these would be good little images, especially those that I was showing you. Some of these would be good for a little recipe card. A great thing about Canva is, let's just take and we'll just assume this is like a recipe card. So we can take and we're going to create like a 4x6 card. And we can do that by just resizing this page, go into custom inches. We want a 6x4. And then what we can do is, if we were going to do like a recipe card, we can take and upload, and I don't have that one. Let's do this pretty one. And we're going to upload it. And let me just show you how you can make this work. Let's just say that the background didn't remove correctly on this. Then you can put it right here on the edge like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the background here, and then we're going to go down to the colors that are in this, and we're going to find this image. And we're going to, that's the wrong one. There's two images, so we want to get the one that goes with that picture. So okay. So now we have made this, got the color close to what that was. Now if you see, there's a tiny line here that you can see that the color is a little off. You can go back in here and go up here, and then you can play with it until you get it to match. Oops. Let me go back. Okay. There we go. So you can pretty much match them if you go and set it up that way. Now you've got a place where you can put your lines, and you can however you want to do it. You can set it up and put lines or not. You can use another template. You can do kind of whatever you want to. And you can play with it however you want to do it. This is not for a recipe, but you can add lines or whatever. You can put recipes, but you can use these little border images if you want to, like that. So there's lots of different things we can use our images for. We just have to be creative. And whether you put, and once you set it up, like, see, it would be so easy to go back in here. Let's just say we have this, and then let's say we already had it all set up. So what we could do is we would just go into the uploads, and let's just say we wanted to use this. All we'd have to do is drag it there, and we could flip it so that the best side was available there, however we wanted to do it. We could use this one. This one, it cuts off too much, but you see what I'm saying. If you want to use something totally different, not that. I grabbed the wrong thing. But if you wanted to use, and I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that maybe looks like it would be something that maybe the background wouldn't remove properly from. We do have a lot of images that happens with. I don't have any in there right at the moment. So let's go back over here and look and see what else we've got. Like, this one's really pretty. This one would be really pretty on something like that. Oh, here's a tree. Now, see, that's pretty even with not having it match. See how pretty that is? But you could also do the same thing by going over here and going down to the image and then selecting the cream. And then, isn't that gorgeous? You can move it over if you want to, and then have it like this. How pretty is that? That's gorgeous. Look at other things that have similar art. All of this with all of the wash behind it and everything can lend itself to some amazing home decor items. Now, and then a lot of your images that have princesses or whatever, and maybe they're, little girls or whatever, those things are good too. Think about recipe cards in a different way. Think about things that you could do for children. So if you have an image that is really difficult, like I've got some images that, and don't look at the name of my folder, Ugly AI Art, but anyway, it is what it is. I did it because some of them I couldn't get the backgrounds to remove cleanly, so they were images that I wanted to do something with, but maybe I couldn't. So let's just say we take, let me find one that's really good. Oh, he's so cute, isn't he? I have lots of really pretty images. But I want just the right one to illustrate because some of these with all their drips and stuff are that way. So let's just say we wanted to use one of these because, to be honest, all these drips and drabs, the way this is done, it's very difficult to get a clean background image. But let me show you how cool this could be for a book lover. And I'm just going to copy this one and upload this image. And I'm going to take her and drag her in. I'm going to lower her down. And then books I want to read. This could be like a part of a little thing specifically for book lovers where you have a place for them to write the books or do a checklist or something of their books they want to read or then the books that they have read. So like a book diary kind of thing. Book lovers love things like this. So if we go in, we can then change the background to this color. And it's not quite that color, so we could tweak it until we get it pretty much. And then this, we can even edit her, like overall. So if we wanted to make her like this, that's a latte. And then we could go back in, and that may be a color that we can match a little closer. And you actually can, when you go in here, you can also use the dropper. And that's probably a quicker way to even do it. I forgot they even had the dropper. So like these others that we did, all you have to do is get the dropper and it will match that color for you. And isn't that cool? And she's really cute like that. But lots of, so here's a product like this. You could do this. You could do a bookmark with her. So you could do, set up another page. Let's resize this one to say we want it to be 2 inches wide. And let's think about, let's see. Okay, so an 8.5 by 11, we would want it to be 6 inches tall by 2 inches, I think. So 2 by 6. And then we could take her and we would want to I would probably want to just hand do her. So let's do her. Let's stick her in like this. And I actually may, instead of doing it like this, so she would be precise, I would probably just do this and put her in it. And that way it's the dimensions fit her perfectly. Then you could duplicate her and make her into little bookmarks, depending on what you want them to look like. But those are really cute. You could do a whole collection and not have all of them alike because I have quite a few different ones. We could do this one. And just as is, they make really cute bookmarks. Now, another thing that you could do, I'm going to drag her right here. So that'll show you that you could do like the whole little collection. And I may do that with these. But anyway, what you could do is you could, and I'm going to remove the little girl from one of these and just do here. Go down, and we're going to make that white. Okay. Oh my gosh, people are not listening. Okay, let's see. Now what we could do is take and put the little girl on it. So what we could do is we could put her to the top and then have some room down here that we could put a message, or we could move her down to the bottom and put it up here and make the bookmark. So that's the bookmarks. But anyway, I just want you not as much to just use the ideas I've given you, because those are just broad ideas, but they're just to get your brain thinking about what else you can do, how you can use those images. And you're the only one that, you're the one that that can see all of the images the way that you've created them, and you're going to be the better judge for what you can actually do with them. But I wanted to really show you that there are so many different ideas out there. So let's just look inside the themes playbook. Now, this one's the themes one, but it also has some product ideas that are inside there. So let's go to classic cottagecore. And this gives you a bunch of things that you can do, but it also has some ideas that it includes as well. So product mock-up section. Let's see. Seasonal event variations. I just have to find it. So look at that, like recipes and planners. It has a cozy interiors pack. Let's say you've done something and you were trying to get suitcases, but it gave you the whole suitcases against a pretty train background or something, or a train station or something. Think about those whole pieces as background papers, or like I said, the interiors packs. A lot of these things can be great wall art. You can make matching wall art, note cards, all kind of things like that. So there's just a lot. The better product for actual product creation, and knowing what to make. Now, the themes is what theme to make the product in. So that's its main focus. But the sales potential here is saying that journaling, wall art, stationery, stickers, invitations, scrapbooking, you can use all of those products with those images. Now, the difference is you're making a product that is the product and not a product that somebody's going to create a product with in that scenario. But you can be creative and possibly do creator packs that would give people those images as well, that then they can do things with. A lot of people can do all kind of things with your images. Think about this. Okay, I could take a basic um, like if I were going to make a basic quilt, and just a very simple machine, do the machine quilting right down the middle, divide it into squares or whatever. Or if I were going to do little individual squares, I could take some of these techniques to do the transfer, or I could sublimate the squares. You could do that as well. But if you wanted to use transfers so that you could do it on cotton and that sort of thing, you could buy the transfers and you could cut it out, the shape and everything out with a Cricut. But if you were just going to do you could do different images like seasons. You could actually use some of your images for the 4 seasons or the multiple seasons. You could do holidays on a quilt, that sort of thing, or a throw. Basically, it'd be kind of like a throw. And so you could take and iron these on to the things. So that's another thing. You could do a like a kit, an image kit for a quilt, and go ahead and give people the images that they would sublimate or transfer onto their thing, but it would be the theme, and the whole quilt, they would have all the images they needed to create this seasonal quilt. Does that make sense? Anyway, there are so many ideas. I know that you've got them just probably bubbling over now, with what you can do with all of these images. They do not have to be left in your digital filing cabinet. Pull them out and create something this week with one or more of your images that you fell in love with, but you just couldn't get the background to removed from it. That's my challenge for you. Come back, drop me a note telling me that you did it. Go into my group, because by now you should be a member of it. Drop me a picture of what you created, and let us all see what and celebrate what you've come up with. And anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this little introduction into thinking outside the box per se, coming up with some different ways to use those images that just frustrate us all. I know, because I've been frustrated, and I have a lot that I need to work with, that I have created. And it's okay, because there are lots of images that are great for clip art, and then there are those beautiful images that lend themselves to other things, wall art, tumblers, um, note cards, book plates, book marks, uh, flyers, all those different things that you can do with them, buttons, stickers. Take those characters that are so cute and turn them into those little buttons or stickers that people can use. So think outside the box, use what you create, and when what you create isn't what you can use it for. So, anyway, have a great day. Be sure and check out all of the playbooks. I was showing you inside of the the Profitable Products Playbook, and also the Ultimate Themes Playbook. Both of those are really great resources. But I hope you've gotten enough ideas to sort of ignite your um, imagination, and that you'll be populating some wonderful products soon. All the links to everything are down in the description. Artistly, the um, Playbooks, my stores. If you're using Gumroad, I do have a coupon code. It's summer50. It's down in the description. If you are purchasing the Junk Journal playbook, remember it's only on Gumroad. And then the sale is already applied to the Etsy store. So, anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy creating.